Hey everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Love All. Very excited for this weekend. I'm in a different environment, hotel room, not in my usual closet slash whatever, desk, podcast room, whatever the uses of it now. But excited. I've had a fun couple of days here already.
Yeah, Kim, give the people an update. You're in Paris. You're a 15-minute walk away from Roland Garros. Why are you there? How's it been going so far?
I got here Sunday morning, and besides the fact that I was on a freezing flight over, I feel like I've adjusted pretty well. Yes, so I couldn't sleep. That's how cold it was, but adjusted well to the time change, and the weather's been a little bit different from what I was expecting. I don't know. I left New Jersey and it was nice and sunny, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." I'm going to Paris, like nice sunshine, and so didn't pack a coat, nothing. So it's been a little cold during the quali days, but I'm not complaining. It's a lot harder for the players who have to go in and out, and to get to the gym and warm up, a few times before they play. But it's been fun. It's nice to see a lot of the changes that the tournament has made again, and I saw Amélie Mauresmo, the tournament director, on Sunday night, the last day before the quali started, and spilled a boiling hot tea over her.
What?
Yeah, I came in from the Susan Langland restaurant, and I was like, "Oh, we have to walk back to the hotel," and I got a tea just to keep kind of our hands a little bit warm, like me and my friend who's here with me, and then on my way out to the exit, I saw Amélie, and I was like, we started talking, like we hugged, and she tapped my back, but like I held my tea a little bit away from her, and it just spilled on her. She's like, "Ow!" Like, so her hand, yeah, but she's okay. I'm like, "Hey, are you okay? No blisters or anything? All good."
Oh my gosh, yeah. So if during the trophy presentation you all see her with ace bandages,
yeah, she's good
because Kim burned her. So a tale of two temperatures. Kim has been shivering for 72 straight hours. There's been boiling water involved. So many things.
But it's been good. It's nice to be here, and I'm here for the qualifying. I want to see a few of the players that I am in contact with, and then players that Belgian players, some players that are in the qualies for the first round that I know and that used to train in my academy, and that are part of the federation or the Billie Jean King Cup team, and so it's just really nice to kind of be a part of seeing these players kind of live their dream out, and whether it's picking up balls or giving some tips here and there, it's all fun.
Kim, I know you don't like answering questions like this, but I'm asking it anyway. What is the reaction of, how are fans reacting when they just see Kim Clijsters just like walking along the sidewalks of Roland Garros?
It's weird because I'm so out of it, right? That when I go, especially here, like I haven't been back for a few years, and but there's like a lot of Belgians that are here, and I kind of forget sometimes, like that they come for pictures, and right. I went to watch David Goffin play in his first round of qualifying, and it was such an amazing match, and it felt like it was like an organized like final game for him. The crowd was into it. And his emotions at the end, and it all happened very naturally. Yeah. So, and then just to realize like how many Belgians were there for it, and like we had goosebumps. Like everybody that was sitting in his box, like we were all kind of just like overwhelmed with like the support, and the crowd like was cheering for him, and there was a lot of Belgian flags and people with Belgian colors, makeup on their face, and so those are the moments that kind of bring me back to like, oh yeah, like I remember that, like that kind of atmosphere when I played here as a junior even, and then as 25 years ago. And it's a really, even for a Belgian, like we're not French, but we're so close that, and especially for right. David, like who is a French spoken Belgian, they really embrace them. And that was really, really cool to see yesterday.
So what you're saying is you've taken a lot of selfies with people over the past couple of days.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. So it's like, oh man, I just forget about it. I'm so used to living life in New Jersey, and just like do my thing, and nobody cares. And then but yeah, it's I love the part where I can be like on the court and helping some players and those who want it, and so it's nice. It's maybe it's also more exciting because I haven't been to a tournament in a long while since my foot injury.
Right.
So it's just kind of nice to catch up with some people too.
That is awesome. Well, cannot wait to hear more. Also in Kimformation today, just a little tease, I am going to get your favorite 3 things about the Roland Garros site circa 2026, because as you mentioned, things have changed a lot around the ground. So cannot wait to get your list there. But of course, we are going to have our headlines today. So much happened last week, so much going into next week, which is the start of Roland Garros, of course. And then I want to pick your brain as usual, Kim. But let's start with our headlines, shall we?
Yes, please.
Henley's headlines, if you will. TM, copy, or is it TM, the trademark? Can we get our official trademark team on Henley's headlines? Okay, gonna get some merch. This week we've got the Hamburg 500, Geneva 250 for the men, Strasbourg and Rabat for the women. But last week it was all about Rome and 31-year-old Elina Svitolina earning her 20th title, her 3rd title in Rome, her first since 2018, her first WTA 1000 title since having her daughter Sky in late 2022. And she beat 3 reigning Grand Slam champions to win that title, Rybakina, Swiatek, and Gauff in the final. That was in a span of 4 days, which is absolutely mind-blowing from a physical perspective. All 3 matches went 3 sets. And Svitolina now joins Venus Williams, Iga Swiatek, Aryna Sabalenka, and Vika Azarenka as the only active players to win 20-plus titles. And I did not double-check this. I think this is correct, though, that Svitolina and Azarenka are the only 2 mothers to win 1,000 titles post-maternity leave after our very own Kim Clijsters, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty neat. A very exclusive club.
Go moms.
So go moms. So as a lot of 3s, 3rd title of the season. Now she's number 3 in the race, if you can believe that. Wow. That's her 3rd title of the season. So, and also 3rd win over Coco this season, which was notable as well. So a few questions about this from me, Kim. Elina has really reinvented herself post-baby. In a way that, I mean, we knew she was a career high number 3 in the world, I believe, prior to maternity leave, and was always one of those players that you knew was sort of going to be around in the second week of slams, but maybe not a player you ever believed could win one. And now she comes out 2.0 and has the consistency, the fitness, but also this attacking game as well. And I just was wondering if you could put that in perspective, A, how hard that is, and maybe B, if you had any of the same feelings when you came back after having Jada. Did you think, okay, clean slate, no pressure, people don't think I can do anything after having a baby anyway, might as well make some changes?
Yes and no, I think. Clean slate in a way, but you also have so many things to think back about or to compare back to, and you use that to say, okay, this is where physically I want to get to. This is where, like, my trainer, my who was also my fitness coach, but also my chiropractor and physio, we knew all the numbers, right? From speed and agility drills that I would do on court, from weights that I was doing on court, literally fat measurements. Like, we had all the numbers. Wow. And so we knew kind of like, okay, US Open, 2000, whatever. Like, this was her number. Okay, this is, he thinks I can still get better than that. And so we start the great thing about being on maternity leave is that all your aches and pains that you had and that you kind of just push through and you kind of deal with a little bit, you can really start working. Like, you start from scratch when it comes to rebuilding your body. So you can really work on, getting the back of that shoulder stronger. You can work on the core. You can work on, this hamstring's been bothering me for years when I do a little bit too much. Like, those kind of things, I was able to really attack with my team. When it comes to tennis, she definitely invented herself when it comes to, like, the way that she hits her forehand now. Like, she never did that before. At least not as consistently as she is now. So when she was working with Raymond Sluiter from the Netherlands, I also, I think there was a big switch that happened in her. Like, you cannot win these big tournaments unless you become the one that's attacking. She has great legs. She's fit. She can play 7 3-setters in a Grand Slam if she has to, and be totally fine. But if you don't have the power to compete against these top players now, the Sabalenkas, the Igas, the Rybakinas, like that was her biggest weakness. So she's been really able to adjust that, and especially with the forehand, and with the wheels that she has, that combination of once you get into a forehand, you're under pressure, and that's something that where I feel like she's made the biggest jump in the last couple of years since she had her daughter. So it's really interesting to see, but I guess they say you get wiser as you get older, and I think that happens as a tennis player as well. Like, your fitness, I think she's fitter, if not as fit as before. But I think you also learn from being away from the game, from watching the game on TV, listening to people talk about the sport, and I know Gael is also her husband. I'm sure having his support and his voice of reason as a player also helps a lot. So it's really, she hits with him a lot. Like, we've seen videos online of them hitting together. So to have that kind of intensity and speed coming at you from a male player, I think is also helping her when she's playing players that hit the ball hard, and like a Coco with some more topspin. And so these are all things that are kind of working in her favor right now, and it's really great to see. And it's wasn't it great how the message that did you see the message that Gael
I see it, Kim? Kim, okay, I had other questions to ask you about Elina, but since you brought this up, we're gonna go down this path and then we'll come back. Do you remember the days of Gem's Life, their joint Instagram account?
Oh, yes.
Yes, so Gem's standing for Gaël, Elina, Monfils, and Svitolina. Yes, Gems. And then they broke up and everybody was devastated because Gem's Life was no more. And then they were back together. Then they got married in 2021, had a baby in 2022, and they are...
I didn't know they broke up.
Yeah. Yes, they broke up and Gem's Life was no more, and then they were back together. And, I mean, I hope that's correct. I hope I'm not spreading misinformation, but I knew this because Gem's Life bit the dust for a short time. But can I ask permission, Kim, to do a dramatic reading of this Instagram post that Gael did for Elina? Okay, for those who didn't see
love letter.
I feel like we need some Parisian... what's that? What's
background?
The instrument that you? Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll see. We'll see if Sean and Ella, our editors, can add in some music. Here we go. 8 years. 8 years to climb back to the top of a Masters 1000. What a season. What a week. What a player. But above all, what a woman. An incredible mom to Sky, an exceptional athlete, a soul like no other. I'm so proud of you, my love, of your strength, your calm, of everything you carry quietly day after day. You inspire me every single day. Enjoy this. Soak it all in. You deserve every second of it. I love you. Heart emoji. Oh my gosh.
The hairs on the back of my neck are like,
Like, it's not even in French. I mean, he did that in his second language. Like, Gael, what a man. I just thought that was lovely. I think that their relationship is lovely. I mean, Gael is just one of the... He just has, in my career, always been so incredibly kind and gregarious and giving of his time. And Elina is maybe slightly more reserved, but I think he's brought that out in her as well. And I think probably her intensity has been helpful to him as well. So it's just like a really good example of how they've balanced each other out, and it's been so fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true what you say. I think his personality of being at times even a goofball a little bit on the court and using the crowd's energy and where she at times could, we've seen her in the past in close matches, sometimes emotionally, not always handle it the right way and or kind of be overwhelmed by the occasion. And I think he has been really good at kind of teaching her to just let go of what's just happened. Like, if it's negative, just let it go, like on to the next. And yeah, I do think that he's kind of helped her mature on the tennis court by being more laid back in a sense. And I think the other way around, like I think she's been able to teach him, what it's like to be locked in more and the dedication to the sport and not get distracted. And so, it's a really good partnership and to see it like come together like it is now on court, where she, I think when she came back from her motherhood, I don't think a lot of people were expecting the change. It's not like that she wasn't a good player. She was a great player before, but to see the changes that she's made to her tennis and to become, like top of the list of hard hitters now, especially with that forehand is, and the serve has gotten so much more aggressive and better as well. So I don't think, I definitely didn't expect that. And so just to see her develop it in the last couple of years and take more and more risks, and now, to become, it takes time to change that, right? Like you're going to make some more mistakes because you're getting pulled out of your comfort zone at times a little bit more. And, but now like it's falling into place and she's feeling more and more comfortable and with playing that game style. And she's just, more consistent and it's paying off. So the belief is there, and you see that, even though even when she wins, it's like she's happy and excited, but then it's like she goes on and just shakes hands, and there's like a respect and a maturity that has come with it, with becoming a mom too, I think. And it's really, really good to see. So very interesting to see, with that confidence that you build up at a tournament like Rome, how can she carry that with her into the French Open, where you can, she's going to be looked at as a title, defender, like a title contender.
They're going to be like the it couple of Raleigh G this year. I mean, we have Gael and friends during Fan Week or Qualies Week coming up, I think soon in just the next couple of days, where he's going to be out on court with a variety of different players and special appearances. It's his last Roland Garros. He wrote another post about how sad it was to be going out to train for his final Roland Garros, which another tearjerker, like, oh my gosh. But that, I do wonder, I feel like that's a lot. Granted, they are veterans. It's not like they haven't experienced pressure and media attention before, but I do think it's going to be next level at Roland Garros, probably for both of them.
Yeah, and it's like even when I was sitting on Suzanne Lenglen court during David Goffin's match, right? Like I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow, like he's playing his first round qualies. Okay, the stadium was completely packed, and you'd think like, these have been great players, like that David is up for this, to go all out and to give it one more shot. Like you can see how much it means to them, whether it is first round qualies or it's a main draw. Like it's the feeling is the same. It's the love for the sport. It's trying to push yourself to play great tennis. And, you always kind of hope or you believe that, there's one more great run left in it, right? And for him too, like he's going to have the crowd support. He's going to be entertaining. So it will be very interesting to see the draw when it comes out, to see like, does he have a good draw? Like who can he, that's going to be the fun part about it too. So it's a lot of fun stories, I think. Yeah. And and the crowds are going to be all in for it, and I feel it. And now they're already talking. People talk about it, and you see. I saw Arthur Fies in the players' restaurant, and just the vibe around him now. Like you can see like how that's shifted. When he walks around. Yeah, when he walks around in the players' area, and it's like it's really nice to see, and it's something fresh and new again. Like it's he brings something different than a lot of players do.
Yeah. Okay. Circling back, we had a little aside for the Gems life of it all. But circling back, I do want to mention that Elina has also done all of this while supporting Ukraine. She has her own foundation for juniors playing tennis in Ukraine. And so to see Marta Kostyuk be the champion in Madrid and then Elina Svitolina as the champion in Rome was really neat for that storyline as well, because they have put in so much work and effort and time off the court to support tennis players and beyond in their home country. So just wanted to note that before I ask you a follow-up question on Elina, which is to say, people talk about Coco Gauff and her athleticism. And yes, is she arguably the best athlete on the WTA tour? Yes. I think Elina Svitolina comes close. I was watching an interview that she did where she said if she didn't play tennis, she would probably be a track athlete. She had a trainer when she was young who started off in track and I guess maybe instilled some of those track basics in her. And you can totally see that, the fitness level and the anticipation. And I mean, that was such a physical final. And my question for you is it possible, and I wonder even about this with Coco, that extreme athleticism can actually be a handicap? Because you know in the back of your mind that you can outlast just about anyone. Do you have to almost override, because you had that sort of like base level, incredible athleticism as well. Did you have to override that to get that aggressive side as well?
Yeah, because I think early on in my career, I would kind of fall back a little bit too much on, hey, let me, if I'm playing an opponent that hits the ball aggressive, let me just back up a little bit and kind of wait for them. Like I'll return, I'll get a lot of shots back and wait for them to make the mistake. That's good up until a certain level where, your opponents become more consistent and they learn to come in and they just learn how to deal with that. And so I had to learn to play closer on top of my baseline. And once I felt that then the combination of physically being able to play tennis where you're on top of your baseline, reading your opponents, being strong and fit enough to get in and out of the corners, it takes time and work physically. But I noticed that in the finals, Svitolina I almost think does that better than Coco. Because Coco does get pulled back and she runs so well from side to side. And even if she has a drop shot to get to, she can get there most of the time. And so I do think you can kind of forget that you have to move back in closer because you feel comfortable because you have a little bit more time.
Right.
So, being super athletic and fit is the first thing for me was that it taught me was I don't have to worry about not being able to last in hot climates, in these tough conditions, to recover after a long match and come back 2 days later in a Grand Slam. Like that's the number one thing that as an athlete in tennis, you have to be able to check off, right? Is like, can I do this physically if I want to win in a Grand Slam? And so it is a big confidence booster too.
Sure.
But the sport, I feel like the game has changed so much and you have to be able to be the aggressor. And if you can play, and I'm talking in meters now, but if you're playing a meter behind the baseline or you can play, a foot behind the baseline, makes a big difference across the net. For your opponents, like the intensity of your shot and the way that you're, using your angles and the pressure on your opponent, it makes such a big difference. So
interesting.
It's important. And, but in moments like when there's nerves and tension and being able to get an extra ball back because you're super athletic and you can throw it up and there's, the crowd gets into it, like you'll draw like mistakes from your opponents as well. So it helps a lot in those kind of situations too.
All right. Moving on to Coco Gauff, who was hilarious after losing. And it was so interesting to see, like we saw her really at a low point early in the week, said she was struggling with some things off the court. She reaches the final, overall has a pretty solid tournament. And on social media, did you see her talking about her top 5 nightmares?
No, I did not.
Number 1, sitting through a trophy ceremony after you lose.
I saw that, yes.
Number 2, talking after you lose. Number 3, smiling with the finalist trophy. Number 4, sitting through the trophy ceremony when you lose. And number 5, the ceremony when you lose.
And then she was like, hey guys, I don't like get people annoyed or like pissed off at me. Like this was kind of a joke.
Right. I know. Poor
it's
Coco.
true.
Yes, it's true. Has there, can you, I mean, gosh, I imagine you can think of a trophy ceremony where you're waiting for them to set it up and you would rather be anywhere else. Were you a crier after a loss?
When I was younger, not once I got older, it's just more frustrated and annoyed, right? Like I think that was more my first 4 Grand Slam finals that I lost. Like the first one here, against Capriati, it was so new and everything was just, I mean, it was so unexpected that I made the final that it was even, like, I was happy even after I lost. Like, it was just such an amazing experience. And, but then afterwards, when I kept losing to Justine.
The Slam final.
Yeah. I would stand there and I was like, oh my God. Like, but it's a weird feeling because on the human side, you see her happy, and I've known her from when we were, 8, 9 years old. Like, you see that's like the happiness, pure happiness, right? Like, you can see that from somebody, but then at the same time, like, I'm feeling disgusted with myself because, I wasn't able to play my best tennis. And so I didn't feel like, like it was like a fair game almost, like, and that's what I was the most like disappointed with. And then you have to do that. Like, you have to, you kind of smile and be like, oh, like, I don't want this trophy either. Yeah. like I don't want
nothing,
it. Like,
though, I will say, nothing is more charming. Nothing, in my opinion, is a more instant attractor of fans than when someone can give a funny and charming finalist speech. I mean, we're going to talk about Casper Ruud in a second, but Casper Ruud's finalist speech was also incredibly funny and charming. Casper is like a 47-year-old in a 27-year-old's body. But anyway, we're going to talk more about Casper in a second. I feel like he should be like a dad in suburbia. But I do want to ask about Coco and what her performance, in your opinion, means for Roland Garros. It would seem like that's a pretty good setup to potentially defend.
Yeah. A great setup. I think she got out of these, the pre Roland Garros tournaments what she wanted. She's playing well. I feel like her serve was better, which is what she needs as well. And a lot of people have been talking about that. And so I do think confidence-wise, she's at a level where where it was different a few months ago. So that's good to see. And even though it's a loss against Svitolina, I do think she left that match and be like, I can beat her. It's not like she got beat off the court. And I think that's always a good feeling to have as well. So, I think she had great preparation and is kind of happy to have it take a couple of days now and get to Paris and adjust to the new surroundings. And then, I think from tomorrow onwards, it's going to be nice and hot, and they're expecting a kind of summer temperature. So, the whole energy will be different then too. So it's always kind of nice once you get to that Grand Slam to be focused and to kind of just start with, okay, it's one match at a time, kind of that attitude, and not really think about what happened and not think about ahead what's coming. And that's something that she's been used to here. So it's going to be exciting. I think for a while, like people were talking about Sabalenka, Rybakina, but it's nice to see now for the first time, I feel like since a few Grand Slams, that we're looking at, let's see Coco, Iga, like let's see the competition. So that will be interesting to see in these next few weeks.
Oh, it's funny. I was going to ask you, if you had an overall pick for the women's side, because I am already mentally, I have moved on to the moment where we have to fill out our served brackets, and I'm already.
Are we doing that still?
I assume.
Did I get disqualified after my last?
It's still a thing. Kim took one for the team. Kim was intentionally poor with her pick so that I wasn't the worst.
I had like foils in my hair or something. I was like somewhere in a hair salon. I was like, where do I? I'm like, don't know this player. All right, might be an upset. Let's go for it.
Amazing. Wait, so if you had to pick a women's champ right now, could you lean one way or another?
No.
I know. No, it's like flip a coin. It is. I am tempted to feel like I look a lot at sort of the lead up. Like, to me, if I were Jannik Sinner, that would spell disaster for me at Roland Garros, because I'm like, at some point, and Casper Ruud actually said that. He said, listen, it's kind of nice playing him at this point because statistically speaking, the loss is going to eventually come. And if it hasn't come yet, maybe it could be
the chances will get bigger. It's going to.
Exactly, which I thought was such a good way to look at it. But I think that Coco, and this is something I want to ask you about in confirmation later, but in terms of building, you just explained it. I feel like she has built really well coming into Roland Garros, which is so hard to do, especially with 2-week Masters. I don't understand how players are doing it. So yeah, I don't know. Flip a coin. It's hard to bet against Iga, though, if Iga is playing well.
Especially like when I saw her play against Naomi, the way that she that was insane. Like the level that she played in that match was incredible. The way that she, like her forehand, running around her forehand, just super aggressive, the serve, high statistics. Like it was almost like the perfect match that she played there. So when she gets to that level against, the top players again, on clay, she's going to be very hard to beat if she can get to that level. But that's the thing; it's so hard to consistently play like that, right? And so,
unless
it's almost weird, like to think like maybe Sabalenka is maybe just a little bit below like an Iga and a Coco at the moment, and that's almost weird to say, just by going off her last kind of like her clay court results and the way that she was playing. It's not even like a loss here and there can happen. But it's just, her shots just don't hurt as much, and the intensity is not hurt, like as dictating on these clay courts.
Okay, I mentioned Jannik, but we're just gonna give the stats. And I was trying to think of a different question I could ask you, because I feel like the things that have been said by just about everyone at this point. All the superlatives have been thrown out, but he of course completed the Masters 1000 box set at 24 years old, which is 7 years earlier than Novak Djokovic did it. And he went into this season having never won a clay Masters 1000, and he just won 3 straight. And only Rafa Nadal has ever done that in a single season, and that was back in 2010. He's won 6 straight Masters 1000s. This is a stat from TNT. Since October of 2023, Sinner has more titles than losses. 21-16. We did see him look potentially physically. I love how you're just laughing at that. It's ridiculous. It's insane.
But it looks, he makes it look so easy.
Yeah, well, yes. But there was that one match in Rome against Medvedev where he maybe did physically look a little bit vulnerable. Did it matter in the end?
One match, Blair.
Yeah, I know. Kim, I know.
No, you know what I mean? Like, he just...
He yacked and still won.
Just physically stay strong, even when he was throwing up or something, right? But just to physically, just stay strong through it mentally. The expectation, and we've heard Serena in the past talk about it. Like once you get to that level, there's a lot of players who play out of their mind against you, right? They have nothing to lose. They play free, and he plays against those players all the time, and just from start to finish, knows what to do. It's just, really, really, it's so impressive. And I think for like somebody like me, like a former player, I think it means even more. I feel like a lot of people in the fans and oh, Sinner won again. It's but just to know
what
much
it's like.
How much it means and how hard that is to be so locked in and not get distracted and stick to your routine and everything that comes with it, right? The food, the preparations, the recovery, the sleep, the whole team has to be on point. It's insane, actually.
His whole team matches. How do you feel about the dressing the same as a team? Is that the sign of a well-oiled machine? It's when your team dresses the same.
I think so.
Why
and
not?
I think he probably maybe he wants that, right? I made my uncle wear not like this a shirt. Listen.
I didn't know where this was going. Okay.
I made my uncle wear green pants for almost 3 weeks straight, just because I was so superstitious. So maybe Jannik is superstitious about everybody wearing the same thing, and
maybe
no distractions in the box, when you look over or something. But so in Brisbane 2011, my uncle wore fluorescent green pants. Okay. And I win my first round, and everybody in the team was knew that I was superstitious, and I was like, all right, you got to keep wearing those same pants. He's like, I do? I was like, yeah, okay. He said, I will. Like, he said, I'll keep wearing them until you win the Australian Open. And I won't even wash them, he said. So I was like, okay, deal. Yes. So, yeah, he would be wearing shorts, and then before my match, he would go put his green pants on. And
it worked.
And it worked. I ended up winning Brisbane, and I won the Aussie Open.
It's as simple as that, folks. Green pants.
Green pants.
I love that story, Kim. But yeah, no, I mean, we know that when it comes to his team, Jannik is paying attention to what they're doing. We saw last fall during, was it maybe Paris? One of the, maybe Shanghai, one of those Masters where they were not standing up quickly enough. They were not quick enough with the encouragement, and he's like, "Wake up, people!" So he's paying attention to all the little things, and I think he can seem so sort of unbothered, but to know that he's paying attention to those little details and still doing what he's doing is really mind blowing. So unreal. Casper Ruud, do you think Casper Ruud could potentially make it back to a Roland Garros final? He's already had 2 under his belt.
I do think so.
He's playing better tennis.
Right. And I've always been very interested about, male players who become a dad, and to see like how that changes. There's a lot of moms, and obviously the moms on tour and the changes that it makes physically. But I'm very interested, like how, a male player who becomes a dad, like how does that affect them, mentally and traveling more, or, maybe not being with the family all the time. And I don't know how that, so that could be fun. Maybe one day we should ask if he wants to come on and talk about that.
I would love it. No, Casper, as I was mentioning before, he's 27, but he just sort of operates in sort of the way he looks. Like you feel like he should be wearing a vest in, the Hamptons or something. But he did you hear his finalist speech? When he lost to Jannik, where he said he congratulated the Italian Federation for all the great work that they were doing, which I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but also like a great note because they are doing an incredible job. He said, it's not just Jannik.
Won the Davis Cup for like the last 3 years or something, or
yes. And then he said, too bad, I'm paraphrasing here, too bad your soccer team is not also having this sort of success if they're losing to Norway, like, things are bad. And it was just like so good natured and funny, and just credit to Casper for just his consistency. And also I think too, I was reading one of his press conferences, his backhand has traditionally, he's been a forehand attacking player, and the backhand tends to sort of float through the middle third of the court. But he was talking about maybe using the down the line backhand a little bit more so that people don't get comfortable, especially guys who also like their forehands camping out, righties who camping out in that far side of the court. So anyway, I think credit to the players who are in sort of the middle portion of their career and who are trying to figure out, okay, how do I get better? If I continue to do this, it's never going to get any better than this. And so I got to take some risks. And so I'm curious to see if he can back it up at Roland Garros.
Right. A little bit like Zverev too, right? Where he has to try to be a little bit more aggressive or at times. So it's
that's essentially what Jannik Sinner did at the US Open when he lost last fall. And he was like, you know what? I'm going to make some changes. I'm going to throw in some drop shots. I'm going to put in more variety. And then, he turns into a cyborg. So works out.
And that's the crazy thing with tennis. I feel like a lot of times, you have a certain routine and it gets you to a level that is great, right? Is high, like Casper Ruud, Grand Slam finalist, and beating a lot of, the top players. But then that change, okay, what do I need to change if I want to even take that next step, like a Zverev even? And it's of course you want to change, but what is it? How do I do that? Like it's not just, it's not as easy when you've had the same routine and you can rely on your skill and get to a great, and get so close where you think like, yes, it has to be good enough. If I can get to these finals, I should be able to win. But sometimes, the weaknesses, and it sounds like a big word, but they're so minor but they can have a really big impact on the court, and that sometimes, and it takes time. It can take months to a year, even more than that, to get those changes to feel like they're part of your game and that they're normal and that you don't feel like out of your comfort zone because you're trying to adjust something. And I think I've read some or listened to some of Zverev, his interviews and his press conferences. Is like he talks about that. He's like, yeah, I'm trying to, at times be a little bit more aggressive, but it feels comfortable sometimes and sometimes it doesn't. And so that's, the mental side of playing and believing in yourself. And is, there's a fine line between pushing yourself and being yourself on court.
That was a quote from Marat Safin this week, coaching Andrei Rublev. This was during his straight sets loss to Sinner in the Rome quarters. He said, "I can't understand why you can't understand that you can beat him." And then he dropped an F-bomb for good measure. And it was, to your point, it's you have to believe that it's possible. And then you have to be able to execute. And the combination of those two things for some players might not be possible, right?
No, but sometimes it is also just as simple as that, right? Like the way that Marat says it. Like, if I believe that you can do it, why can't you believe it? Like, it's sometimes that simple, but we, as tennis players, a lot of times overthink a lot of things because there's so many triggers and so many information that comes in that it can be, again, I'm going to use it like a pinball machine. When there's 5 balls coming down, it goes tilt, and you try to push it a little bit tilt. Like that's what happens too on the court. And it's a mental game. That's why they say everybody at this level can play tennis and plays really, really well. But it's the mental game that makes a huge difference. That probably the biggest difference.
All right, Wim Fissette. We've been wondering where he was going to land, and now we know, at least on a temporary basis, it is with Canada's Vicky Mboko, who split with her everyday coach, Maxime Choutakian. She was also working with Natalie Tozia, who took a full-time role with Tennis Canada. I'm interested to see how that partnership goes.
Very, very. I heard he was also working with a Chinese guy for a little bit, for a few tournaments. So
there you go. I see. Well, I didn't even know that, Kim. Thank you.
Yeah.
College tennis, quick update for the men. Virginia NCAA team champions. That, by the way, was the team that successfully recruited both Rafa Hodar and Joao Fonseca. They never got Joao. They got Rafa for one semester, but they're still national champions. So props to them. They beat Texas, and then on the women's side, Texas A&M took out Auburn, and Carson Brandstein, who we had on the pod just a couple of weeks ago, who helped A&M win their first national championship title in 2024. She's like, build us an indoor facility. Come on, Texas A&M, pour the money in, give those players an indoor facility. I think that's only fair if you win a national championship.
What are they called again?
The Aggies.
The Aggies.
Yes. I've never been heckled worse than I was heckled at Texas A&M in college tennis. And I was heckled. I got heckled. And it was by far the worst when we played at A&M. And
so how did you react under a heckle circumstances?
I am like the duck in a pond. Looks very peaceful on the surface. I look very unbothered on the surface, and inside, underneath the water, it is absolute
tilt,
total full tilt. It is full tilt. My teammates used to make fun of me because they would like do an imitation of me getting upset at myself, and it would be like, "Oh, Blair." And that would be as upset as I would get on the surface, but I was an internal disaster area.
But
so anyway,
would you show anything on like tennis wise? Like, would you rush in between points? Would you like overhit? Would you slow down? Like did you?
I would choke him. I was the least, and did I have clutch moments here and there? Yes, but I would describe myself as one of the least clutch players ever. I was really consistent, and I was asking you that athletic question before, because that, again, on a much lower level, was something I really struggled with, is because I knew physically I could outlast 9.5 out of 10 people. Like, I could hang physically, but when it came to beating the top echelon of college players, I had to be free to hit the ball, and I just could not free it up when it got tight. Anyway, all right.
So just, I mean, it just kind of popped up into my head now. Early on, when I started dating Leighton, and he was working with Darren, seeing Leighton, who was, I guess, one of the fittest, right, out there for years, the drills that he was doing is what I also started doing. And it just changes your mindset about the sport of tennis. Like, he would do so many 2-against-1s and beat 2-against-1, like win.
Really?
Yes. Because he just wouldn't miss.
Wow.
And he would run every ball down. He just wouldn't miss 2-against-1s. And it was Darren and I sometimes 2 other guys. Like, and yeah, it was insane just to see the mindset of that it takes, right? Because your shot doesn't have the same intensity, or it doesn't hurt as much, right? Like as it does when you're playing 1-against-1. So just the mindset of just hanging in there and waiting for your opponent to make the mistake and playing, the court and the angles. And it was just I learned so much, and just, it just,
interesting.
The harder it is in practice, like, I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Like, the harder you can create your practices, the easier it will be in matches.
All right. Moving on to Kim formation. Okay. A question that I alluded to a little bit earlier, but I would love to know, Kim, and granted, things have changed since you played because of these longer Masters tournaments in the lead up to these slams, but how does a tennis player try to peak for a Grand Slam? Because I just feel like it would be so incredibly difficult, given that you're playing matches. You can't taper like a runner would, and you can't build like a runner would. So how do you do it?
How do you do it? I think it's the real structure of it, I feel like, is already made in the preseason when it comes to the physical buildup or the physical focus that there is at that time, right? And everything else throughout the year is maintaining, and it's maybe in between surface changes, there's some adjustments when it comes to, on the clay court, rallies may take a little bit longer, so you might do your intervals a little bit longer. But I think the most important thing for me was in the off season. That's where I did most of my running, my longer distance runs. For the 2 weeks of a Grand Slam, I feel like a few days before, I started really kind of slowing down. Like, I would do an hour and a half of really intensity tennis. I would do some maintenance in the gym, and that was it. And it was more about mentally just being fully rested. But most of the work physically is already done early on. Like, it's and it's more about just really taking good care of yourself and focusing good on having good routines with your food, and just that became more important during, as I got older, was just making sure that you do the recovery very well. And I never held back because I was playing smaller tournaments or I wanted to be pushed, and I had to feel what that was like. And like, hey, if I'm playing a 5-set, not a 5-setter, like, but if I was 5-all in the third set, am I still as accurate with my serve? Am I still as accurate with my winners if I'm trying to go for a forehand inside out? And those are the moments like where you learn so much from as well. So, it's to me, all that work, the most important part was in the preseason. And then, you just try to fine tune like your tennis, the few weeks before, and make sure that you're just well rested enough.
Yeah, that's, the big picture perspective that you have to be thinking about.
Right.
the preseason, when we're 5, 6, 7, 8 months away from that is really crazy.
And that's why, like, you hire, really good people and smart people who can help you with this, right? It's your tennis coach and your fitness coach need to be on the same page and knowing, like, okay, this is what we're working on now, and we're focusing a little bit more on fitness. And then when we get closer to, the bigger tournaments, tennis takes the priority, but you still want to keep working on your weaknesses in your body, but also getting stronger and faster, and making sure that your endurance is strong and like big enough to last on court. So to me, it was almost like, I had blind trust in, my trainer, Sam. Yeah, because I knew every week.
Blind trust, but you knew you hired a good person. You hired the good person, and then you could have blind trust.
Right, but
because you weren't going to.
Yes, but I already knew him. Like, he was a local guy, from my hometown in Brie, and I knew him already before, and we had a really good connection when it came to trusting somebody. And he didn't come from tennis, but he was so observant, and he just wanted to learn, and he just knew me, and he would stand on court and he could see, and when my heart rate was up, was it through nerves or through just being exhausted or heat or whatever it was, and then he would just try to just imitate it as much as possible on a treadmill or outside or on court, and we just there was blind trust. There was I didn't want to worry about what should my heart rate be, like that. No,
right.
They tell me, they stand on the side of the court, and I kind of just do what I was, did what I was told, and there was a lot of frustration because at there's times where you're doing so much, I'm not saying lifting, but like strengthening, that I would do some stuff before tennis practice as well. And I would get so frustrated with him and be like, Sam, I can't hit 2 forehands in the court, and feel my arm properly. Like, I'm 2 weeks away from the US Open.
Yeah.
Like, what's going on? He's like, no, like, give me a few more days and then you'll start to feel like you need to recover. And so I'm like, okay, like, that was 2009.
Yeah.
And it works. Like, there's science behind it too. And then, it's just really, when you work like Sinner is doing now, and I feel like I had that for a few years as well. Like, when you work with a team where everybody is in communication, I'm in communication with the team, they're communicating with each other, and they're on the same page, and they're respectful to each other. If you don't, if you sometimes don't agree with one another, like, that's when, you're in that flow, that natural flow where it kind of all runs smoothly. And that doesn't mean that it's not hard, but it just runs smoothly when there is struggles, and that's the best part, when things can go that way.
Would you like to give us your 3 favorite things about the Roland Garros site?
I would.
Okay, go for it.
To me, there's a couple of things that are maybe not like so physical, but it's, for me personally, what I experienced with David Goffin brought me back a lot, and I mentioned it at the start of the show, is the connection to the Belgian crowd. Seeing that, like seeing David go through that, like I was watching Jolien van Dromme, our US Open junior champion from last year. She's playing here in the qualies for the first time, and just seeing the stadium, she was on a smaller court, but it's packed. Like, there's Belgians lining up, and I don't think people don't understand enough. It's not a home Grand Slam, but it makes a big difference knowing, having that support from so many people. So that was my number one.
Okay.
Then I would say my second favorite, I'm going to keep my third one it's a food one.
Oh,
I'm going to try to take a picture of it maybe later this week, because they haven't been open. A lot of the boutiques weren't open yet in the lead-up tournaments, the lead-up days. But the second one is the tunnel under Susan Lundgren. Like, do you know that it's like a lift? It opens and closes.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that's a really cool kind of feature, and one of my, and it's not my favorite, because it usually means that you're injured, but I feel like the medical staff has always been very, very, very good here.
Oh, nice.
They have a lot of equipment on site when it comes, like, machinery, and you can get tests done very easily, and they're super professional. And so that was, as a player, always a big bonus, knowing that you're in really, really good hands. And then my favorite is the crepes. I saw a few stands as I was walking around the site were the crepes, and
I can smell it.
Right. And the thing is, like, it's busy even on the qualifying days. Like Amélie Mauresmo was saying that they're expecting 20,000 people a day during qualifying. Yeah. And it's a lot smaller of a venue than, let's say, the US Open in New York. But yeah, they're lowering the prices. I think it's now 15. It was 15 euros for kids under 15 years old. And then everything else was, I think, 28 or 29 euros for the day. So they're drawing in a lot of people, and it's really, really nice to see. So
that's amazing. And
do you have any favorites?
I just love the whole area, the L'Orangerie, and over by Court Simon Mathieu, where literally the court is like a greenhouse. It's in these gardens that are on the grounds, and it just doesn't feel like a tennis tournament. They plop in a little. When I was there 2 years ago, they had one of those little 4-piece French bands playing like Taylor Swift songs. Which is probably like sacrilege to some people, but I was like, this is so cool. We're walking into the gardens, and just you have the little French band. It was just really, it just doesn't look like your normal tennis tournament. I like sort of the quirks of it. Also, we've talked about this, but the gift shop there is next level. It's 2 stories. It's massive, and they have a lot. I'm not really a souvenir person, much to my children's dismay. Like, no, I didn't bring you home anything. Like, sorry, it's overpriced. But if you're going to pay for an overpriced souvenir, they have some really unique things. So this has been a true delight. Kim and I are going to have a couple of weeks off. We are going to hopefully have some social content for you, but we're going to hand it over to, Andy has lots going on over on the served front. He has quick served during slams, of course, and I do believe we are going to have a bracket for you. We hope you all participate in that, and I'm sure it's not going to be hard to beat Kim and I. Certainly not going to be hard to beat myself.
What do we know about tennis?
For myself,
right?
I had absolutely nothing. But on a quick side note, when it comes to picks, this is why I'm terrible at a bracket, because my entire philosophy has been nobody is going to remember if I pick Jannik Sinner to win and he wins. But they might remember if I pick, I don't know, Artur Fils to win and he wins. And so I go big or go home, which is a losing proposition when it comes to...
That was my mindset during the Australian Open too.
All right. Well, we're going to see how it all shakes out. We cannot wait. Kim, have the best time in Paris. And yeah, put it all on social media. We want to see the Kimfluencer.
Okay.
Thanks.
Now I start sweating.
Thanks to our entire team. We appreciate you all. Sorry for the heavy lift on the edit this time around. We'll see you all next week. In the meantime, we would appreciate it so much if you liked and subscribed and followed and all the things. Love All Podcast on YouTube and socials. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone.